If your energy has faded, if intimacy feels distant, not because you've lost interest, but because your body just isn't cooperating, if your erections aren't as strong or dependable as they once were, listen closely. Because this might not be just aging. It might be something far simpler and surprisingly fixable. I'm not a salesman. I'm a guide here to share what many doctors overlook. 3 essential nutrients that your body may be quietly starving for. And these aren't exotic compounds. They're vitamins. Nutrients that directly affect your circulation, hormone balance, and sexual function. For over 30 years, I've worked with men over 60 to help them restore the strength, vitality, and yes, the sexual confidence they thought was gone for good. And here's the truth most won't say out loud. It's rarely about lost desire. It's about poor blood flow, low testosterone, and a system that's running on empty. And the solution? It often starts not in a pill bottle but on your plate and with the right supplementation. Today, I'll walk you through the 3 critical vitamins every man over 60 should be taking, and how they can naturally support erections, boost testosterone, and revive your energy from the inside out. Plus, stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal one common mistake that's making these vitamins less effective for millions of men, and how you can avoid it starting tonight. If this message hits home, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because here we don't just talk about aging. We talk about aging better. And if this resonates, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. And let me know how I can make this content more helpful for you. All right, let's get straight to it. If you're a man over 60 and you've noticed your energy isn't what it used to be, if your performance has declined, your drive has faded, or your connection with your partner feels more distant than it should, this might be the message that changes everything. Because the path back to strength, confidence, and intimacy doesn't always begin with a prescription. It often begins with what's missing from your body, and more importantly, what you can restore. Let's start with the first and most overlooked key to rebuilding circulation and natural vitality: vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin. But for many men, it's so much more than that. It's the foundation for restoring healthy blood flow, strong energy, and yes, sexual performance. Let me take you back to a conversation I had with a man named Paul, 67 years old, retired, healthy looking on the outside but worn down on the inside. He leaned in and quietly said, "Doc, I still want to be close to my wife, but my body just isn't responding anymore." It wasn't lack of love, it wasn't lack of desire, it was lack of circulation, plain and simple. And in Paul's case, like many others I've worked with, that trail led directly to one thing: a vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D plays a critical role in male health, not just for bones, but for blood flow. It's the nutrient that helps your blood vessels relax and expand, allowing oxygen-rich blood to move freely through your body, including to the areas that define your masculinity. When your vitamin D is low, your body also produces less nitric oxide, a key molecule that supports healthy erections, stamina, and energy. And here's the shocker: over 40% of older men are deficient, even those who eat well and stay active. The solution isn't complicated: 15 to 20 minutes of morning sunlight, more salmon, eggs, and fortified foods, and a quality D3 supplement, often just 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily. This simple fix can change everything. I've had patients go from struggling to get out of bed to walking with confidence, engaging fully in their relationships, and finally feeling like themselves again. But vitamin D is just the beginning, because even if your blood is flowing, you still need the energy to sustain it, to move, to think, to live fully. That's where our second essential vitamin comes in: vitamin B12. Let me tell you about Robert. He was 72, a retired firefighter, tough as nails, proud grandfather. But when he came into my office, something was off. "Doc," he said, "I sleep 8 hours, I eat right. But I feel like I'm dragging through the day. My brain's in a fog. I've got nothing left in the tank physically or mentally." Robert wasn't burned out. He was deficient. You see, vitamin B12 is essential for red blood cell formation, nerve health, and energy metabolism. And as we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food drops dramatically. This leads to unexplained fatigue, mental fog, mood changes, and a deep lack of motivation, especially when it comes to intimacy. And here's the worst part. B12 deficiency often goes undiagnosed because it creeps in slowly. But when corrected, usually with a sublingual supplement or in some cases, a B12 injection, the results can be dramatic. Robert came back a few weeks later and said, "I feel like someone flipped the lights back on." He was more engaged with his grandkids, more connected with his wife, and more present in his own life. That's what this is really about, not just performance but presence. Not just energy, but ownership of your health. So if you've been feeling off, not like yourself, don't assume it's just aging. Sometimes it's your body asking for the right support. Vitamin D and B12 aren't magic pills, but they are powerful tools when used consistently to help you reclaim your strength, your clarity, and your connection to what matters most. In the next part of this series, we'll cover the third essential nutrient that brings it all together. One that works behind the scenes to ignite testosterone, sharpen mental focus, and complete your body's natural performance system. But for now, start simple. Check your vitamin D, support your B12. And remember, you are not too old and it is not too late. This isn't about turning back the clock. It's about moving forward, stronger, clearer, and more alive than you've felt in years. Let's talk about something that too many men over 60 silently struggle with. You're eating well, you're getting rest, you're doing everything right, but you still feel drained, foggy, disconnected from the man you used to be. And if that's hitting home, I want you to know it might not be in your head, it could be in your blood chemistry. Specifically, a vitamin deficiency that's stealing your energy, your stamina, and your drive quietly. Let's pick up where we left off, with a nutrient that fuels the engine of your entire body. Vitamin B12, the energy generator. Without enough B12, your body can't convert food into usable energy. No matter how balanced your meals or how long you sleep, without this one vitamin, your system runs on empty. And the effects go deeper than just feeling tired. B12 is critical for the formation of red blood cells, the cells that carry oxygen to your muscles, brain, and yes, your reproductive organs. So when levels are low, everything slows, your physical stamina fades, your focus dulls, even your interest in things you once loved starts to slip away. Now here's what most people don't realize. As you age, your body's ability to absorb B12 from food drops significantly. So even if you're eating eggs, dairy, or meat, it may not be enough. That's why so many older men feel off, even when their blood work says they're fine. They're walking around with a silent deficiency, one that's easy to miss, but also easy to fix. The solution: supplementing with high-quality methylated B12, or in more advanced cases, getting B12 injections from your doctor. And the results? Incredible. I've seen men go from needing a nap after lunch to hiking, laughing, and being fully present with their grandkids, partners, and friends. All because they corrected a deficiency they didn't even know they had. But energy alone isn't the full picture. Because what your body also needs, especially after 60, is protection. Something to guard your blood vessels, lower inflammation, and support the very hormones that define masculinity. That brings us to the third powerhouse nutrient in this trio, vitamin E, what I call the fertility defender. Let me tell you about James. He was 70, a retired pilot and a man who took care of himself. He came into my office and said, "Doc, I'm doing everything right, I eat well, I stay active, but lately I don't feel like me. My drive's gone, I'm slower to recover, and honestly, I just don't feel like a man anymore." That hit me, because James wasn't neglecting his health. He was doing his part, but he was still missing something few doctors even think to check: Vitamin E isn't just for skin or fertility. It's a potent antioxidant, and in men over 60 it becomes absolutely crucial. Here's what it does. It fights inflammation, the root cause of so many age-related issues. It protects blood vessels, keeping them flexible and strong. It supports testosterone production, which impacts everything from libido to motivation to mood. You see, erections aren't just about desire. They're about circulation, and when your blood vessels are inflamed or stiff, nothing works the way it should. Low testosterone, poor recovery, irritability, low energy, all of it connects back to oxidative stress and poor blood flow. Vitamin E helps put out that fire. The good news: it's easy to get more of it naturally. Foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, olive oil, spinach, and Swiss chard are excellent sources. And if needed, a natural vitamin E supplement, ideally in the mixed tocopherols form, can help bridge the gap. I've watched men like James come back after a few months with more energy, better mood, and a renewed sense of purpose, often saying, "I didn't know I could feel this alive again." So let's recap. Vitamin D gets your blood flowing. Vitamin B12 brings your energy back. Vitamin E protects your hormones and your heart. 3 simple nutrients. 3 powerful allies for any man over 60 who's ready to feel strong, sharp, and engaged with life again. And the best part, you don't need a prescription, just the right knowledge and the will to take action, because it's never too late to reclaim your edge, not with hacks, but with habits that work from the inside out. Now you might be wondering, what really happens when you combine all 3 of these vitamins? Do they just support different areas of your health separately? Or is there a way they work together, creating something greater than the sum of their parts? The answer is yes. In fact, when taken consistently and in the right forms, these 3 nutrients can ignite a ripple effect that transforms not just your energy and performance, but your entire experience of aging. Let's break that down. Why these 3 vitamins work better together. Years ago, I had a patient named Walter, 68 years old, a retired high school coach, sharp as a tack and proud of the fact he still jogged most mornings. He had already been taking vitamin D for circulation. Then he added B12 after struggling with energy dips. Later, I introduced him to vitamin E and explained its impact on testosterone and inflammation. But nothing truly clicked until he started taking all 3 consistently and in the proper forms. I'll never forget the day he walked into my office, grinning like a man who had just won the lottery, and said, "Doc, I don't know what you did, but I feel like I've got a brand new engine." And that's exactly it. These nutrients don't just function on their own. They create synergy, working together to bring your body back into balance. Here's how. Vitamin D improves blood flow by helping your body release nitric oxide, opening up your blood vessels. Vitamin B12 increases red blood cell production, allowing more oxygen to travel through those newly expanded vessels. Vitamin E protects the very vessels that deliver oxygen, reduces inflammation, and helps regulate the testosterone that fuels your energy, drive, and recovery. When you combine them, you create what I call the vitality triangle: circulation, energy, hormonal support, all 3 systems working in harmony. This matters even more as you age, because with age comes slower nutrient absorption, rising inflammation, and longer recovery times. Your body doesn't bounce back like it used to, and when even one piece is missing, everything suffers. But bring them together, and your body starts to remember what normal used to feel like. You may find yourself waking up more refreshed, feeling clearer in your thoughts, responding faster physically, mentally, even emotionally. That quiet confidence you thought was gone, it starts to return. And here's the best part: Walter wasn't some rare exception. I've seen this exact transformation happen again and again in men who commit to restoring this foundational balance. But sadly, most men never get there. Why? Because they're making one common and completely avoidable mistake. And if you're over 60, there's a good chance you might be doing it too. Let's talk about that now. The one mistake most men make. One morning, a man named Gerald came into my clinic carrying a plastic grocery bag filled with supplements. He was 74, thoughtful, clearly doing his best, and trying to take ownership of his health. He laid out the bottles across my desk and said, "Doc, I've been taking all of these for months, but I'm still tired, foggy, and honestly, nothing's improving down there." And I could hear the frustration in his voice. Because he was trying. He was investing time and money into his health, and yet seeing zero results. This is what I told him. The biggest mistake I see men make, especially after 60, is thinking that any supplement will do the job. But the truth is, not all vitamins are created equal. The form, the quality, and the dosage of a vitamin determine whether your body can actually use it or just flush it out. Take vitamin B12, for example. Most generic brands use a form called cyanocobalamin, which many older adults can't properly convert due to changes in digestion and enzyme activity. So even though you're taking it, your body's not absorbing it, and you're not getting the benefit. It's like pouring gas into a car with a clogged fuel line, nothing moves. That's why it's essential to choose bioavailable forms, like methylcobalamin for B12, cholecalciferol D3 for vitamin D, and natural mixed tocopherols for vitamin E. High-quality matters, not just for results, but for your long-term well-being. Because when you give your body what it actually needs in the form it can use, things start to shift. And that shift doesn't just show up in lab numbers. It shows up when you feel strong again, clear again, and most importantly, like yourself again. What you want isn't just any vitamin, it's the right form your body can actually use. Take vitamin B12. Most store-bought versions use cyanocobalamin, a cheap synthetic form that many older adults can't absorb well. What your body truly needs is methylcobalamin, the active form that's ready to go to work immediately. The same goes for vitamin D. D2 is easier to find and cheaper, but far less effective. What you want is vitamin D3, which your body recognizes and uses more efficiently. And vitamin E. Avoid the synthetic DL-alpha versions. They lack the full spectrum of tocopherols your body needs to truly support testosterone, circulation, and cellular protection. But here's another issue I see all the time: inconsistency. Taking vitamins once or twice a week, whenever you happen to remember, just won't cut it. Your body doesn't thrive on random inputs. It thrives on rhythm, steady, daily support that allows your system to rebuild, recharge, and regain balance. This isn't about quick fixes. This is about foundation. When Gerald, the man we talked about earlier, switched to higher quality forms of the vitamins and took them every day, the change was incredible. Within weeks, his sleep improved. His energy came back, and as he put it, he was finally feeling like a man again. Not because he tried harder, but because he started doing it right. So now that you know what works and what to avoid, let's bring it all together. You might be wondering, okay, but how do I make this a part of my life without making it complicated? Great question. Let's build your plan, your daily vitality routine. When I sit down with men in their 60s and beyond, they almost always ask me the same thing. "Doc, just tell me what to do each day. I don't need fancy. I need something that works." And I respect that deeply. At this stage of life, most men aren't looking for hacks or trends. They want clarity, consistency, and a plan that helps them feel strong again without turning their life upside down. So let me introduce you to Frank. Frank is 66, a retired carpenter. He came to me tired, frustrated, and quietly wondering if the best of his life had already passed. Low energy, poor sleep, and a fading connection with his wife had left him feeling like a shell of himself. But we didn't rebuild everything at once. We started small. We built a simple, powerful daily routine, and it changed everything. Here's what it looked like. Morning. Frank started his day with a full glass of water and his methylated B12 supplement, taken with a protein-rich breakfast, think eggs, Greek yogurt, or a small smoothie with protein. Mid-morning movement. He took a 15-minute walk outside, enough sunlight to stimulate natural vitamin D production. On cloudy days or in winter, he added a vitamin D3 supplement with breakfast. Lunchtime. A handful of almonds or sunflower seeds, plus a drizzle of olive oil over a leafy salad gave him a clean source of vitamin E. That was it. No massive overhaul. No overthinking. Just small, deliberate steps repeated daily. And within just a few weeks, Frank had more energy to play with his grandkids, more interest in being close with his wife, and a sense of quiet confidence that had been missing for years. He didn't feel like a younger version of himself. He felt like a more grounded, more present, stronger version of the man he already was. And that's the truth I want you to take with you. You don't need a dozen pills. You don't need to chase extremes. What you need is a rhythm, the right nutrients in the right forms, and a mindset that says, I'm not done, I'm still in control of my health. Because you are. And your next chapter can be stronger than you ever imagined if you build it one steady, smart step at a time. Because you are. And as we close today's message, I want to leave you with something personal, something every man over 60 needs to hear but rarely does. It is not too late. If you've ever looked in the mirror and wondered, will I ever feel like myself again? If you've ever questioned whether strength, desire, or vitality were things of the past, let me speak to you from the heart, not just as a health professional, but as someone who's listened to thousands of stories from men just like you. Men who have built lives, raised families, shown up day after day, and who now find themselves feeling a little out of sync with the body they've always trusted. That feeling, that question, it's not weakness, it's proof that you're still in the fight, still searching for connection, for meaning, for that spark that makes you feel fully alive. And that's something I deeply honor. We've talked today about 3 vitamins, yes, but it's more than that. Vitamin D to unlock healthy circulation, to help blood flow where it matters most. Vitamin B12 to fuel your energy, your memory, and your physical drive. Vitamin E to protect your heart, balance your hormones, and support your identity as a man. But this isn't just about biology. It's about your dignity, your confidence, your ability to show up in your life feeling strong, clear, and present. The real transformation doesn't come from knowing the science. It comes from living it, from building small, steady habits into your day that support who you are and who you're still becoming. I've seen men rediscover themselves in ways they never thought possible, not because they found some miracle cure, but because they chose to take action and stay consistent. So now I ask you, what will you do next? You can take this information and file it away. Or you can say yes to your health, your future, and your identity. You can choose to take that daily walk, to pick up the right supplement, to start showing up for your life in a new way, one step, one habit, one morning at a time. Because here's the truth. You still have time to rebuild strength. You still have time to reconnect with your body, your loved ones, and your purpose. You still have time to be the man you know you are. Not just a version of who you were, but a wiser, more grounded version of who you're becoming. You've already taken the first step just by being here. Now take the next. If this video spoke to you, even in a small way, hit that like button. Let us know this content matters. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, a friend, a brother, a father. And if you feel moved, drop a comment below. Tell me what resonated, or let me know what topic you want me to explore next. This space isn't just for you. It's shaped by you. And if you'd like to support this work and help us continue creating content specifically for men over 60, consider making a small donation. Every bit helps us reach more men who need this message and reminds us why we do what we do. You're not just a viewer, you're part of a movement, and I'm deeply honored to have you here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.